All right, we are good to go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the Green Committee meeting for ALCOSAN, and it is November the 20th, 2024. We will begin today's meeting with a roll call. Ms. Prater?
Dr. Shanna Thorpe Gilliam, Paul Klein, Emily Kincaid, Darren Kelly,
Here.
Sylvia Wilson.
Here. All right, thank you. Today we have 3 informational items. The first being the status of the GROW Cycle 9 agreements, the GROW Cycle 10 update, and the end date extensions. And I will turn the informational part of this meeting over to the appropriate personnel.
That will be Tim Prevost, our manager of wet weather programs, Mr. Grow. Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. First informational item, status of the GROW Cycle 9 applications. We currently have 33 applications out in the system. We have received many of the applications. I believe we are up to 27, I believe. So we have executed the agreements that are in green. The agreements have been received but not yet executed in yellow, and agreements not received. This could be updated. The last check, things may have been executed, but they still have several, I believe, 3 more weeks, two or three more weeks to get them turned in. There are no foreseeable issues about the agreements that have not yet been turned in. And usually when agreements aren't executed, it's usually because of an insurance issue that is easily remedied. That's pretty much it for the Cycle 9 applications. If there were any questions, be happy to answer them.
Not at this time, I don't think.
No questions. Next, we will go into Cycle 10 update. As the committee knows, we changed the growth cycles from annual to semi-annual. Every 6 months, we will have a growth cycle until the program is over. In Cycle 10, because it was so close to after our fairly large Cycle 9 grant cycle, Cycle 10, we expected to have fewer participants. We got 14 municipalities participating, which actually was a little bit more than I was anticipating, which is good. It means that we have folks wanting to have their projects up for consideration for growth funding. The preliminary value of all the letter of interest projects that we received is $23.5 million. Some of the projects are fairly large, and some are minimum value of $120,000. Still, it's a good bit of money, and when we get the applications, we will see how we do with Cycle 10 matches. There were 20 projects all together proposed in Cycle 10. So 14 municipalities, 20 projects. If we took all the 20 projects together, this is the breakout. We have 2 green infrastructure projects valued at almost $8 million. 15 I&I projects, a little over 12 million, and 3 sewer separation projects, which are roughly about 3.5 million. All told, $23.5 million in value for the 20 projects. In our process, we go through and we at first identify all the projects that received a waiver from ALCOSAN, and waivers are just projects that we've got enough information on from past cycles or municipal coordination to where we know enough about the project that we did not need to have the municipality go through the expense of putting together a letter of interest. So some of these projects we knew about, and so they got what we call the waiver. The projects in yellow are the projects that, after our review, we agreed that these were projects that were GROW eligible and have a pretty good chance of, meeting the guidelines of GROW. But then we have 2 projects that we did not invite for this cycle in the borough of Homestead and Stowe Township. These are not necessarily not good projects. The issue with these 2 was our program guidelines require monitoring to be submitted as part of the application. And in the letter of interest, it was clear that they would not be ready with the monitoring. So we've already reached out to these municipalities. We're working through the monitoring efforts. And these projects, once we get the monitoring and we have a little bit more time to communicate with the municipalities, they should be cycle 11 projects and probably will get a waiver. It's not that the projects were bad. If they had data, they would have been invited. But as we're moving forward, we're going to work with them as we work with many municipalities to get good projects into the queue. If there are any questions regarding the letters of interest that we invited, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks,
No
Tom.
question for me.
Yeah, pretty clear what you're explaining to us.
So with the 20 projects, this is the breakout. If every project got a 15% match, the value would have been 3.5, 85, a little over 20 million. But for the projects that are getting invited, so we're looking at bookends of $3 to $17 million. And as every cycle's gone forward, the municipalities and the authorities that submit GROW applications really are starting to understand what these projects will take. Some of the projects that were invited, they may not submit an application due to budgetary concerns that are not yet resolved. And we understand that. We still want to work with the municipalities. So as the applications start coming in, we'll have a better idea as to what we should be expecting for Cycle 10's overall contribution from GROW. The last informational item on here is end date extensions. Typically end dates, we have been moving them to March and September. Those are times where the Green Committee lines up really well with our GROW applications. And so we've tried to move them to March and September, but occasionally we're still going to get a few that fall into December, maybe 1 or 2 next year in June. But after that, we're going to have every March and every September be the times when end dates are. So right now, I'm trying to communicate with McKees Rocks about their project, and we'll see if they are going to have an amended end date. But PWSA and Wilkinsburg have reached out, submitted their requests And the requests are both fairly reasonable, so we're going to make this recommendation for the December board meeting. So once we finish with McKee's Rocks and they communicate what their intentions are, we will have an exhibit in December for board approval. If there are any questions on end dates, again, be happy to answer.
No questions.
No questions at all. Just really interesting to hear all of this. I mean, just from the beginning till now, it's just incredible. All right.
That's it.
That's it for you. That's it for that. And I'm looking, I mean, like I said, it's very interesting to see how this has progressed. And I'm just glad to have been able to witness a lot of this. And considering where we were when we first, or before we started, it's pretty amazing to me. Looking at our agenda, I don't believe we have any other business.
That is correct.
That's correct. All right, then I want to thank everyone. Tim, I want to thank you very much, and everyone who came out and have anything to do with participating in this committee meeting. So thank you all, and we are adjourned.
We will see you tomorrow.